adventurers! Welcome to Roll for Felicity, where we play serialized one-shots in a multitude of systems with assorted players. Today, we are playing the game Justicar, which is a mystery game of courtroom drama. We did our setup for the game on Wednesday, and so today we're doing the trial portion, so we're all ready to go to court.
Ready.
As you can see, yeah, we're all ready as we can be. Yeah, I'm very excited to play this. And I have some other stuff to say about the fact this game is on Kickstarter right now. But before we get into all of that, let my players introduce themselves. First of all, we'll start with Mila. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yes, hello, I am Mila, and you've probably seen me around here before. I am one of Taylor's moderators, and I also stream here on Twitch over at Troll Mila. And I've also been on stream a few times playing some games, and I'm really happy to be back. Yeah, also, we have the icebreaker question I want to get in first to say it. For a really good twist in media, I want to say the lack of twist in I won't go too much into it in case people haven't seen it, but in Knives Out, that is a very, very fun, unexpected twisty and lack of twistiness that I really enjoy. So it's a very good one, and everyone should watch it.
Yes, that's true. Knives Out is a very good one. Also, Kyle with an N, thank you so much for the follow. Hello. Yes, I forgot to say, but yes, our icebreaker question is, because this game is a game with lots of twists and turns during the game. The icebreaker question is what's a piece of media you like that has a twist, or I like just kind of an unpredictable plot line. So yeah, Jason, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone, and also a media that you like that has a lot of twists and turns, or one significant twist?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Jason. My pronouns are he, him. I have been playing D&D and other TTRPGs with Taylor for a while now, and I've been on stream a couple times, and I've played with everyone here, so I'm super excited to be back because I know how fun it is to be with you guys. My favorite twist, my favorite semi-recent twist was from Jordan Peele's Us. Have you guys seen that movie?
I haven't yet, but I do know I do know a little bit about it.
Well, there's really two kind of twists, one towards the middle and one towards the end, and they're both really good, and that movie overall, even without the twists, is just phenomenal, so people should see it.
Yeah. Alex, what about you? You want to introduce yourself to everyone, and then also a media that you like that has twists?
Hi, yeah, I'm Alex. I am the brother of Taylor. I'm a musician. I do a lot of music stuff. Working on an album, a short EP here soon. I have a website if you want to hire me for music and look at what sort of music I make. I think Taylor can put
I updated my bot so it has it as one of your links, so it's already in the chat. It's comfortnoisemusic.com.
Yep. And favorite twist, I forgot to think about this. I'm gonna say when Luke finds out that Darth Vader's his dad, that's kind of cool.
Oh my god, spoiler alert.
I mean,
warning.
I'm sorry. I mean, you should have known. We're talking about twists.
That's true. Yeah, here's icebreaker question. I have suddenly forgot every single piece of media I've ever consumed. That's fair. Yeah, I do usually let people know. I think I messaged everyone at least 40 minutes ago what the question is gonna be. And then for me, I Knives Out is probably just one of my favorite movies ever. But then if we're talking about twists, and Mila already called that one, I will say Get Out, which is kind of cribbing off of Jason's answer, but Get Out also has some good twists during that, and is definitely a movie where you're like on the edge of your seat the whole time. So yeah, that's our that's our little icebreakers. You can get to know us a little bit more. Before we get into playing the game, I do have a couple of things to say. Which is, first of all, this game is currently on Kickstarter, and I do have some special incentives during the stream to celebrate that. So if you back Justicar for $15 or more and tweet a screenshot at me, you can introduce a surprise witness or a piece of evidence. And let me do this. The Kickstarter link is in chat now. So if you back it at $15 or more, tweet at me a screenshot that you backed it, so I can retweet it and help boost the game more. Then you can introduce a witness. There are different aspects to a witness that'll be in chat if you do that. But you can also just kind of pick and choose, like if you just want like a name and a style and you want us to come up with the rest of the stuff, that's totally cool. Same thing with evidence. If you're like, oh, I want to do evidence, but I don't want to think of a flaw for it, like we can come up with all that stuff. It's as much as you want to do. And then also, since chat doesn't necessarily know our lines and veils for the game, anything that you submit is subject to a little bit of tweaking from us, just in case it gets into some territory that we've already said that we don't want to do. Or if we think it'll fit better if we do something else based on secret keys or tilts and like all that kind of stuff. So it might change a little bit, but we'll try to stick with the spirit of whatever you send us. And then the last thing that I'll say before we get into the game is there's also some things you can do to help the stream. The first one is if during the game there's something that you think is like a funny moment. Oh, I didn't ever start my music. Here's the music. If during the game you think there's like a funny moment, something that you would want to see on TikTok or on Twitter, you can use the command in chat / marker, just an exclamation point and then the word marker. It'll make a marker in the stream and then I can go back later and clip it and use it for social media. You can also tip the cast. You can tip $2 to tick 1 epiphany clock, which helps us all get to a better ending. Each of us have an epiphany clock that we'll be going through during the game. It also helps us reveal new things during the trial. Or for $5, you can tick everyone's epiphany clock. And finally, pat yourself on the back, because if you're hearing this, you're already supporting the stream in a huge way because you're watching. and I really appreciate that. You can also use channel points to use a certain iconic courtroom sound. And if you're a subscriber, you can play some other iconic courtroom sounds. You just have to use the sound alerts extension. So if you scroll down or click it on your phone, I think it'll show up. Yes, exactly. And I think there's some Phoenix Wright ones in my sound alerts for that are free for subscribers, I'm pretty sure. So with all of that being said, I actually said everything I was supposed to say at the start of the stream, which is unusual. I usually forget something. Let's get in to our game tonight, which we start with, I believe the first thing is the opening statements. So during the opening statements, prosecution goes first and then defense. And what you're basically doing is describing like this is kind of a character introduction. So you're describing your character, what they're wearing in the courtroom. I will remind us all that one of the things that we chose for our courtroom is that this is a Zoom courtroom. So we're all in a Zoom call in real life and in the fiction of the game. So yeah, if you want to describe like, what your character is doing as you're getting ready for the Zoom call or as you're logging on to it. And we'll start with the prosecution, which I believe is you, Jason. So do you want to tell us about your character and what she's doing in these first moments?
Yeah, so my character's name is Virginia Ham, she, her. I think you'll learn soon enough, but I'll just tell you now that I am adopted siblings with the defense lawyer, Sam Ham. Our parents were having trouble conceiving at first, so they went to the adoption agency, and they really connected with this one kid at the orphanage who was this really bright young woman who's also a mouse, and they adopted me. But then they did end up having their own kid biologically named Sam, and ever since then, I've felt like this overlooked eldest daughter type of thing. That's also like I was just a placeholder for Sam until he came along, and then he copied me and became a lawyer like I did, which is even more annoying. So now this is probably our first, or at least our biggest case where we're up against each other, and I really want to shut him down. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of like nervously going over my notes and planning my various angles of attack, and trying to eye up the defendant and see what his mannerisms are like right now.
I do have a question for Virginia Ham, which is, do you have a mouse-sized computer, or are you using a human-sized computer?
I have a human-sized computer. Yeah, so I guess you can see my whole body. But for my notes and stuff, I have like a mouse-sized iPad.
Okay. So you're using a mouse-sized iPad for your own stuff, but for the Zoom call, you're using a human-sized computer. So it's probably has to be angled down, and so we can see Virginia standing there. Very exciting. And then what about Sam Ham? What's Sam doing, and what's he look like, etc., etc.?
You see Sam sitting at his desk. He's kind of in his own world right now. He's not really paying attention to anything else surrounding him. He's a human. Nothing against rats, obviously, but yeah, he's just kind of dressed normally, really run of the mill. I mean, I'm wearing as a person, Alex, I'm wearing this like sort of beige-ish dress shirt. I think he's wearing a tweed, like an oversized tweed jacket, so something like that.
Yeah, is there anything Sam's doing either before the Zoom call or once he's on the Zoom call to kind of prepare for the trial, or what's the vibe?
No, I don't think he's really preparing for anything. He kind of knows what's going on, but he thinks he's just gonna wing it.
Yeah, very Phoenix Wright vibes, I will say. Because in the Phoenix Wright games, there's literally the first one, the judge quizzes you on like basic, like what's your defendant's name and like all kinds of different stuff. So definitely Sam Ham following in a rich history. And then it doesn't say this in the rules, but I think it'll also be a good time for our judge to what's our judge look like? What's the judge doing?
Oh,
And also,
so
who is
the judge. I don't know why, but the who is the judge just totally threw me off. But it's, like the funniest, like.
Well, I realized
so funny to me as a question.
I realized that I said Jason and Alex's character names, but I didn't say yours. I just said the judge.
Yeah.
So.
So I am playing Judge Justitia. Not a J sound, a Y, a long I. She is named after the Latin word for justice, and really just felt drawn into this life based on her name. And she's very straight-laced, very by the book, very different than a certain colleague of hers who often works with one Phoenix Wright who really just needs to retire. And she's wearing her like judicial robes. This is the closest I have, which is my
Not
very witchy
not
cloak.
particularly close, I'll say.
Not particularly close, but it is a robe. Close. It's close enough to a robe, I suppose. And there's black on it,
Yeah, that's
pumpkins,
true.
but also black. Yeah. So she's very straight laced, very by the book, wearing it. Probably looks like pretty dour. Is like happy to be here, but like really cares about justice. So it's just like, I trust none of you.
Cool. I will not yet introduce any of the characters I'll be playing because they're not here yet. It depends on who is called to be the first witness. So we've got everyone. It sounds like everyone kind of is on this Zoom call just in silence. Oh, I should describe the defendant probably, who would also be here, who I'm also playing. So the defendant for this case is... let me scroll over, is Basil Clementine, who is, in Mila's words, who made up this character, a cow them, as opposed to a cowboy or a cowgirl, which doesn't follow the naming convention. Like, it's not cow him, cow her. But also,
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Also, cow person, really. I think I'm just gonna say cowboy, probably, because cow is so weird. And cow person...
See, I agree. I said it and then immediately said, never, like, don't use this in front of me. I don't like it, and I regret it. But unfortunately, I spread it out into the universe.
Yeah, a cattle hustler. there's a distinct lack in language for a non-binary cowboy, but so anyway, Basil, who is dressed in like full cowboy regalia, so cowboy hat, cowboy boots, some kind of fringed jacket, and is just kind of sitting in just a regular like apartment, because it's a Zoom call. It's just kind of sitting anxiously because Basil is on trial for murder. They're accused of murdering a no particular person in real life, but a mean British judge for a cooking competition. The celebrity chef Beef Wellington was murdered on the set of a competitive cooking show, and Clem was a former contestant, so is on trial for murder. So that's our opening statements, I think. Unless either Virginia or Sam have like actual opening statements that you want to say, or anything that you want to say before the case starts, or the trial starts, I mean.
Well, Jason didn't write anything down, but Virginia definitely would have. So, yeah, if that's where we're at. Yeah, please, Your Honor, I would like to address the court. We're sitting here today because a great man, Beef Wellington, was killed in such a brutal and unceremonious way. Now, I know a lot of people had their problems with Beef. He was loud. He used curse words. He made people feel small at times, but he did a lot of good for the world. He taught us about what it meant to be a passionate chef. And now, because of the defendant, he is gone. So my job here today is to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Basil Clementine had both the means and the motive to murder Mr. Wellington. And I will do that. Thank you.
Basil looks very nervous. Pulls their hat down kind of over their eyes nervously.
Sam just kind of looks over at Basil and just nods. Just, everything's all right. We got this.
Are you and Basil in the same room? Like, are you calling?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
You can be if you want to be. Yeah. Okay, so you're both crammed into one Zoom window.
Yeah.
Cool.
Private Zoom messages just popping up.
Cool. Also, Kylan, thank you so much for backing Justicar. I put something in chat for you for some instructions on surprise witness or evidence. So just let me know what you want to add to our court case, and you can also, wait and introduce it at an opportune moment, since we haven't really introduced that much of the case yet. Cool. Does Sam have opening statements?
I think you probably would see Virginia doing it and think that he has to do it too. So he stands up and he straightens his shirt. He doesn't stand up. I'm picturing this in the real world, but I gotta get used to being in Zoom.
It is funny if he stands up and then remembers that he's.
He stands up. He's got pajama pants on, and then quickly sits back down. All right, guys. So, I think that Basil is innocent. But that's not important. What I think. It's important what you come away from this whole thing. What what you find out, and the evidence is just insurmountable. You're gonna agree with me. What can I say? That's it. I'm good. That's all I gotta say. Thank you. And thank you. Is there a problem? No. Okay.
No. The judge just zones out for a moment and then comes back to say no.
Great. We've got very, very good vibes in this courtroom. The first witness is chosen by the prosecution. So, Virginia, you get to choose which of our witnesses you want to go first.
Yes. I will call. Let's just call the defendant to the stand first. Or do I have to choose not the defendant?
I think you can call it. It says at some point if someone has to play the defendant, then it's the stand. So I think you can call the defendant.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's who a real lawyer would call first, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. My main experience with court is Phoenix Wright, so
they call that guy the defendant. Get up here, Clem.
Clem stands up and then sits back down, thinking that that's what they're supposed to do since their lawyer did it. So for the benefit of chat, during the game, prosecution and defense, and as well as the judge and the stand, which is what I'm the role that I'm playing, have different moves that they can do. The first part of the of each section of the court case is questioning. So during play, the prosecution and defense take turns questioning and cross-examining a character controlled by the stand, and using their moves to influence the narrative and other characters and actions of other characters in play to mix things up. The questioning player, which right now is the prosecuting attorney, is allowed to open 2 new lines of questioning per stand character. So a line of questioning is as long as it's in kind of the same topic, that's considered a line of questioning. So you get more than 2 questions, but 2 lines of questioning, if that makes sense. And then once they've gone through 2 lines of questioning, they can either press the witness, which allows them to ask more questions, or if they can say they're done, at which point the turn passes to the other player, the defense attorney in this case, who will begin their cross-examination. And cross-examination, you can open 3 different lines of questioning, but they have to be related to what's already been presented, if that makes sense. So Clem, like I said, stands up, sits back down, fixes their cowboy hat, and are we gonna have does our court swear people in? Does Clem need to be sworn in, or did that happen pre-Zoom? Maybe everyone was... I'll let the judge decide.
It's up to the judge.
Yeah, it's the judge's courtroom.
Yes, it is my courtroom. It's currently a weird shade of pink, which is odd. But we were sworn in, or you all were sworn in before.
Cool.
Good.
Clem kind of squints to see if the judge's room is pink.
It's not.
Which I was assuming that it's not.
No.
Kind of
any other color.
leans over to Sam and is like, is this should we ask for a mistrial? This judge is kind of... She just said her room was pink, but it's not pink. Oh, I'm not doing my voice. I was gonna do a cowboy accent for Clem and totally forgot. The judge's room ain't pink. Should we declare a mistrial?
Don't question the judge. That's a bad look. Don't do that.
Your Honor, I think it's already clear that the defendant should be held in contempt of court. Seems to have a lot of contempt in his voice for what color your room is.
I swear, Your Honor, I don't have any contempt for you. I just want my best chance at a fair trial.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were in Zoom. And I was like, oh yeah, they're just talking away from the stand.
No, they were. Well, Clem could mute, but didn't. I don't think. It's funny that we're actually on a Zoom call and we're all forgetting that in the game
That we're
It's like, and I think we were talking about how like, oh, we're actually on a Zoom call, so it'll work, and we're all just like, whoosh.
Where are we?
Oh my gosh.
Which also implies that Sam and Virginia made their Zoom backgrounds.
I think our mom made this, and she sent it to both of us.
Yes.
That's very funny.
I feel like Virginia's felt special for having a background and then realized their sibling also has it and was like, oh, never mind. So once Virginia says you should be held in contempt, I'm kind of out of it, and I was like, what?
Objection.
Sam.
Why are you objecting?
Well, he's objecting because I should not be held in contempt of court. I have not done anything contemptuous.
I never said you would be.
Yeah, but I'm just in
mess.
case. Just in case.
Everyone, get it together. All right, Clem, you have been requested to be our witness. Please.
Am I just supposed to start talking, or?
No, I have to open a line of questioning. I think I have to point to a piece of evidence, and then start talking based off that. So, I have here this tape from the television show's confessional booth that seems to have recorded at the time of the murder. Now, I'll play the tape for the court, and I play the tape, and you can clearly hear a British voice and a cowboy voice, or cow they voice, arguing. Sometimes it's too muffled to hear what's being said. Sometimes it's like very clear. And then you just hear like some clattering pots and pans that goes on, like just loud falling kitchen objects goes on for like a comedic amount of time. And you hear a lot of swearing from the British voice. So yeah, Taylor, as the stand, if you want to act all that out.
Just go off camera and start. I will not act that out because it's not proven that was Clem. Since
Right.
You can't see it, so obviously I wouldn't act it out because it obviously wasn't me. So Clem, just everyone's listening to the tape, and Clem says, "Okay, am I just supposed to start talking about that, or?"
Well, so this tape is dated and time stamped for 9 p.m. on Wednesday, well, month and day. Now, I think it's very clear based on the fact that you chose not to mute yourself while you were discussing the honorable judge's room, that
Now,
your voice matches up with the one on this tape.
First of all, I didn't know that I was allowed to mute, otherwise I would be taking advantage of that. Second of all, that is not me in that tape. I was not there at that time. And in fact, there was a different Southern person who was a contestant on the show for that arc. I had already completed filming of my aspect of the television show.
Is that right? So if you weren't there, then where were you at that time?
I was I think I'm gonna choose the move refusal. Just because you're sworn in doesn't mean you need to cooperate. And oops, I'm all over the place. And things you refuse to talk about can say just as much as the things you reveal everything about. Be obstinate in refusing your own way to talk about something. In order to refuse, one of the following must be true. You're scared of someone else in the case if you answer truthfully, or you'd incriminate yourself with your answer. And I'm going to choose that Basil or Clem is scared of someone else, is in fact scared of Sage Shepherd, who is also a witness in this case. I think I also get to fill in I get to pick another player to fill in their epiphany clock. So I will choose, I think it makes sense to choose Virginia, since you're getting some kind of information about the fact that I won't say where I was, even though I'm claiming that I wasn't there. So you can put a tick in your epiphany clock, which you can just use like the marker or whatever in Miro and scribble in one of your sections.
Okay, where is?
I think I put it. It's a pen. I think it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th thing down on Miro on the sidebar.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, Clem claims that they weren't there, but won't say where they were.
Very interesting. So, you're claiming there's another Southern person who this voice could have belonged to, but I think it's not simply the accent, but also the cadence, the same sort of contemptful inflection that we've already heard here in this court. If you won't say where you were, can you at least tell us why, if it's something embarrassing or simple like that, can you at least give us some sort of clue as to why you are saying that you weren't there?
It would potentially make someone else in the court quite upset if they knew where I was, and I'd prefer not to do so, although I can guarantee it has nothing to do with the murder.
I see. Okay, very well. Then for my second piece of evidence, I would like to point to this spur that belongs to you, that also has a piece of Beef Wellington's chef's coat on it. Can you explain how this got here?
I actually can't explain how that got there. So the spur with Beef Wellington's chef's coat, may I speak candidly? I'm sorry, I'm a bit shook up about this right now because I think I'm going to use the move, what is it called? Outburst. Which is the stand out, releases a flood of emotions. And so Clem starts to get teary-eyed, and then starts to cry as they're talking about this. And they say, well, forgive me, Your Honor. I'm getting a bit choked up about this because being on trial is, of course, traumatic in and of itself, but the fact of the matter is that Beef Wellington and I had a relationship of a romantic and often sexual nature, and without being too crass, Mr. Wellington had a bit of a interest in my spurs, and there were perhaps a few times when we got into some exploits, and it hurts to think about since it's never going to happen again, but I would tear off his chef's coat with my spurs, and he would become quite excited at that. And so, of course, I would never do anything to hurt Beef Wellington. We had a torrid love affair.
Yes, torrid seems like an accurate word. So now that you've admitted that the two of you were knocking boots, so to say, it can't have been easy to be in a relationship with Beef. He's well known for his angry and oftentimes violent outbursts.
I mean, that's true, and I just have to say, I was always able to handle it, but someone who was angry at the Beef and who was always frustrated by his rudeness was the host of the show, one Sage Shepherd. And Sage and the Beef were childhood friends, and I believe that Sage was jealous of our relationship, and that's how it came to be that I've been put on trial, because I would never do anything to hurt Beef Wellington.
I see. Well, I think it's already been established that you and Beef enacted some sort of violence in a sexual manner. Is it possible that maybe it was an accident and you just took things too far? Maybe he asked you to hurt him in some way, and it just went south, so to say.
We both know our limits. That would never happen. And as I said, that's not even me in that tape. So perhaps Beef Wellington was hooking up with another cowfolk behind my back, but...
Interesting. And if that were the case, how would you react to learn such a thing?
Well, I can see what you're trying to lead me to, that I would kill Beef Wellington over that, but I would be upset, but of course not to the point of murder. People can be upset about things without murdering someone else. I'm sure everyone here in the courtroom's been upset about something or other and hasn't resorted to murder, I would hope.
Yes, very good. No further questions, Your Honor.
Because I used Outburst, all three of you get to fill in your epiphany clock by 1. Because I implicated, I sobbed and heaved, revealing how someone other than the suspect was involved in the murder. But now it's time for Sam Ham to cross-examine, Clem. And we're sitting next to each other, so Clem just turns this way.
Okay. So Sam approaches the stand, or he doesn't approach the stand. Sam turns
his chair a little bit closer.
So confusing. I don't know why it's so confusing. All right. So Basil, nice to see you here.
Good to see you as well.
I mean,
Mr. Ham.
Yeah. So I have a question. Did you and Beef have a safe word?
Of course we did.
Okay. And you used this safe word regularly, or?
As needed, yes. We were known to use it.
So what you're saying is, you were responsible about your kinks and
Yes.
how you. Okay.
I
Very
would say
good.
incredibly responsible.
Okay. All right.
And I'll just say, as kinks go, taking off someone's clothes with cowboy spurs is not really necessarily that dangerous. Like, there's a lot of other things that are, a little bit scarier.
You have a point. You have a really good point. Let me see. Let me look at my notes real quick. So, and you said that there was somebody else on set that had a southern accent.
There was.
Okay. Who was this person?
I guess it should be one of the other witnesses, but none of the others of them were our contestants. So I guess I'll make up someone else. Because it has to be another contestant. It was another contestant. You know how, these competitions are that, they lack to... I was turning this way, but I realized my microphone is this way, so I should turn this way. You know how those competitions are, is, that they lack to have people with gimmicks, and sometimes the same gimmick gets booked a couple times, so it was a cowboy named... Orangina.
Now, was it a cowboy or a cow them?
This was a cowboy.
Okay. Just Orangina, right? That's what
Orangina.
All right.
Oh, Kylan said I would like to submit a witness, so maybe this will change. Kylan might be making up the person, so it might not be Orangina. We might have to retcon. But Kylan, if it's a contestant that you would like to submit, go ahead and enter them into the record. But yeah, Sam, did you have other things? If you have a third, maybe switch to a third line of questioning until we know who this person is. This other contestant, because you have 3 lines you've done. Oh, a good Southern belle named Sweetie T.
Sweetie T.
Okay, so it's a cowgirl. Her name was Sweetie T, or a Southern belle. I'm sorry, not everyone Southern is a cowboy.
All right, it's good to know. We'll maybe we'll talk to Sweetie T later. Above table, I could do another line of questioning, but should I just leave it there?
It's up to you. You can do up to 3. So if you want to do it, it's not like you've kind of done 2. If you want to do another one, you can, but you don't have to.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do the autopsy report.
You would have to do that with your own witness, I think, because when you're cross-examining, they have to be related to what's already been presented.
Okay. Well then, I'm no further questions, as they say.
Before you say no further questions, the judge stands up and just like blocks out the webcam and goes, "Oh!" and you just see hands waving, "Oh!" and then sits back down. Yes, continue.
Clem mutes the Zoom call and turns to Sam and says, "Now, can the judge be held in contempt of court?"
I don't know.
Judge reads Clem's lips and just says no.
She's
focusing, just no.
Yeah.
Unmutes and just says, am I off the witness stand? It's hard to tell since we're just sitting next to each other.
Mr. Ham, are you finished with the witness?
I believe so. Thank you.
That means I believe the next thing is that Sam Ham gets to call a witness.
I do.
Yeah, I would say maybe not Sweetie T yet, since I want to see if Kylan has anything else that they want to be true about Sweetie T. So maybe Sage, Frida, or Jessica you could call.
All right. Let's just go with Sage Shepherd.
Cool. Makes sense. They were also implicated in the thing. So someone new joins the Zoom call. I'm imagining this is like broadcast somewhere else because there would be a jury. Like, so there must be people watching who are not like, in the call. So a new person enters the Zoom call. Sage Shepherd. They are very well dressed. I think they have like obviously like a setup so that like I feel like people who are on like remote shows and stuff a lot have like a nice little thing behind them that's clearly like, this is where I take my Zoom calls. And they are the show host for whatever the show, which we didn't come up with a name for the show. So they're the show host. They're very well put together. I think they're wearing a suit. And they get onto the call and say, "Hello, Sage Shepherd here, calling in. Available for any kinds of questions that you would have in this horrific thing that's happened to one of my good friends."
Yes. Anyway, your I heard that you were good friends, boyhood chums, you could say, with Beef. Would you happen to know any insights on his personality? Like, was he a particularly easy to get along with person, or is he often angry, jealous, sad?
Well, of course, his public persona was that he was quite an angry individual, but I think anyone who knew him in real life would find that he was quite a kind person. And that was mostly just a, persona for television. And I've known him since we were both kids, and yeah, he was a divisive figure to be sure, but a great friend, and I'm gonna be missing him a lot.
Yes, we will all miss him a lot. Would you? You said that he was a divisive person. Do you think that maybe he had any enemies? Well, obviously he did. But
obviously,
would you happen to know about any disagreements that Beef was, any fights or ugly situations that he might have been in?
Well, I would say that there are quite a few ugly situations. Unfortunately, that's the nature of television, especially when you're playing the kind of persona that Beef Wellington played. But I will say I was not aware of the fact that Beef and Clem had been in a romance of any kind. I'm sure Beef's wife will be shocked to hear that as well. But I don't see how that really changes things. Clem had was very angry that they lost their episode of the show, and said some shocking things into the confessional, I'll say.
Yes, that's not necessarily pertinent at this moment. You said Beef is married. This I wasn't aware of. Do you know anything about their marriage? Any sort of, things that Beef might have told you over the years?
I mean, just normal marriage things, as far as I know. They seemed happy, although I was not aware of any extramarital affairs that the Beef was having, so I guess we maybe weren't as close friends as I thought.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think looking at the evidence here. I'm gonna submit the dough whisk as evidence. Cool.
Yeah, cool.
And I haven't actually been looking at my moves as what I can do. I haven't memorized those.
Yeah, your moves. So both the prosecution and defense have the same set of moves, which are I know you can press the witness, which lets you ask more questions. And then there's also, where is it on here? You can change the temperature if you see an opportunity to intensify the situation or need to calm things down. Let the table know your intentions, discuss them as needed, and say or do something in character you believe will have that effect. So you can either try to provoke someone, try to say something upsetting to weaken their resolve, or say something comfortable to open them up. You can then, mark your epiphany clock and ask them a question. Or you can also object to questions or statements from anyone. The judge has the power to sustain or overrule your objection. And then you can also press the witness, or you can have something up your sleeve, which is bring in a surprise witness or piece of evidence. So for a good, if you want to introduce a twist of some kind. And then also I'll say the judge has some moves as well that can happen at any time. I'm just saying this because we actually haven't really been over this. I've talked about some of my moves, but
I have it on my screen, and I'm just waiting
for the right moment. I'll say for the benefit of chat, the judge first of all has some tilts, which obviously one of them is something is going on with her, that she thinks her room is pink and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
That I'm assuming is a tilt. And then the judge also has they can warn characters, so ask them to change their tone. You can also guide characters, so you can ask, what do you mean, prompt them to say something, or tell an anecdote. And then you can also just dismiss things, so you can just say oh, that doesn't really matter. So all those things are things that can happen at any time during the case. So yeah, did that give you some time, Alex, to think about how you want to introduce your next piece of information?
I think so. Yes, I'm going to change the temperature and grab a Ziploc bag containing a dough whisk, a Dutch or Danish dough whisk.
Danish dough whisk, yeah.
And he's going to whip it around and hold it in front of the camera.
That was such good timing.
and say, do you recognize this?
Okay, so you're trying to change the temperature, right?
Yeah.
What are you're trying to what temperature are you trying to set? I'm assuming you're not trying to comfort Sage.
I think I guess the closest thing is say something upsetting to weaken the resolve.
Yeah.
It basically what Sam's doing is trying, he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's trying to just get the most raw response, the first thing.
Yeah, I think Sage goes yes, that's a Danish dough whisk. Any TV show host worth their salt would recognize a dough whisk.
Okay. All right. Do you happen to know who it belongs to?
I'm not sure, but I swear I know what a dough whisk is. I know a lot of things about cooking, and despite what anyone else would say about the job that I'm doing or things that I've said during the show or the behind the scenes footage, I know a lot about cooking. I know a lot about baking.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
I should also I think what I just did without thinking about it is a bold-faced lie. So I can, I'll say lean into my style, for better or worse. My style is well put together and straight-laced, but also is kind of boring and maybe not good as a host is what I'm trying to do. So I think Sam, go ahead and fill in one of your epiphany clocks for revealing that, since I lied. But you said no further questions, so it's time for the cross-examination, I think.
Okay. Sage, thank you for joining us here in the court Zoom today. So earlier you were saying that Basil Clementine displayed a lot of anger after they lost their episode of the show. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I can. They were quite angry about the fact that they lost their episode. They really felt like they should have won. They said that the show was rigged against them. They said that the Beef had something against them specifically, and decided on the outcome of the show. Even though we all know that there's multiple judges, they all have equal weight when it comes to deciding who the winner of the show is.
Interesting. So you said that you were unaware of the relationship between Clementine and Beef Wellington, yet Clementine seemed to think that you were not only aware, but possibly jealous. So do you have any idea why they would say that?
Obviously, they're on trial for murder. They'll say anything that they can to get away with it, even if it means throwing me under the bus.
I agree.
Clem looks at Sam and is like, "Are you gonna object to?"
I think I think I'm gonna that feels like a lie to me, and I am very good at telling lies, figuring out who's lying. So I am gonna use my move of I'm warning you. You're sworn in, you blue person. You have to tell the truth.
Blue person,
I don't know why you came into my courtroom covered in blue paint, like a blueberry.
Is she talking to me?
Stop lying. Of course I'm talking to you. Don't play these games in my courtroom. This is a very straight-laced, serious courtroom. We take the law seriously here.
I think what the judge is trying to say is that we're all very blue
and you're
about
lying.
this situation. We are very sad, losing a national
Oh,
championship.
of course. In that case,
yes.
I am extremely blue. I think I might be the bluest person here.
You are, I know.
When you warn someone, is there a mechanical thing that happens other than the warning?
Not unless I do it 3 times, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah. I'm warning you. Okay, so I don't have to change anything that I said. You're just saying. I can tell you're lying. Sage says, I assure you, I did not know about the I had no idea about the relationship. I will say I didn't want to say this because I felt like it could come across as a little bit more negatively, and I have my reputation to think about. I don't want to be seen as petty or anything like that, but I do know that Clem, they were in talks to take over the host position from me for the show, and I think that losing that episode really kind of kicked him out of the running. And I think they think that I don't know, but I know everything about my job.
Object.
I told you.
I object. That's speculation. No one knows for sure if Clem was going to get the job. That's speculation, I must say. Objection.
I think the judge can either sustain or overrule when there's an objection.
Ooh.
And Sam is just intently staring right at the
Oh
judge.
yeah, I think it's technically in the moves of the prosecution and defense.
Oh, okay.
So that I don't think it's in the judge's moves. But the judge can either sustain or overrule. So you can sustain, like, yes, that is speculation, or overrule. And then at that point, Alex has a choice of how Sam can react to that.
Judge stops, just stares like long enough that you're not sure if she actually is thinking about this question. She's like, abstained. Yes.
Thank you, Judge Justina.
Justitia.
On my.
I take it back. No longer abstained.
So you're overruling?
No. I'm abstaining. But she does say that.
Are you abstaining or are you sustaining? Because abstaining would be that you're just not you're not weighing in. But I think you're meaning to say sustain.
I like
Sustained.
the idea. I like that she thought that she was saying sustained.
That's what I thought was happening. I thought
Yes,
Mila was just saying the wrong word.
Quite frankly, I'll be honest, that was a player brain fart.
Player error, yeah.
Player error.
Happens.
Yeah, that's a better phrase. But in game, yes, that is exactly what happened. And then she does say, "I'm taking it back," and then just to scare you, and then she's like, "See, we need to be accurate." Please continue.
So the objection is sustained, which means that I have to. You're objecting to me, which is interesting because it's kind of assumed that you would be objecting to the other lawyer, but you're just objecting to the witness. So
But if that isn't peak Phoenix Wright,
that's true. Yeah.
Don't know what it is.
So I think. Oh, interesting. I don't know what I would do then. I guess, Jason, you should pick one of these, since none of them really apply to the witness. They all apply pretty directly to the lawyer. So you can either change approach and ask a new version of the same question, you can ignore the objection and press the issue, changing the temperature as a result, or you can drop the line altogether and move on, creating a new connection.
Yeah, I'll do like the first, I guess.
Okay.
Just like, Mixed Shepherd. Yes, you have speculated that Clementine was in the running to take over your job, but I think for the benefit of the court, clearly we need to learn more about your source on that. Why would you say that? Did you just hear a producer talking about that, or did you see that written somewhere?
Well, I heard it from Frida E. Claire, who is one of the people on the show. She kind of tends to know what's going on, and she told me that I had better watch out for my job security.
Interesting. So you learned that Clem was in talks to take over your job, but then after their poor display, after losing their episode, that took them out of the running. Can you tell me what your relationship with Clementine was like?
Well, I can't say that we had too much of a relationship. They were on the episode, an episode of the show. I guess now my relationship with them is pretty sour because they killed my childhood best friend, and I guess they had kind of an antagonistic feeling towards me because they wanted to take my job. And also, I'll mention, are trying to frame me for murder right now.
Yes, all of this is true and accurate.
We don't know that. No.
Sam, come on.
We don't know.
Come on, he did
this is a speculation again. And my client did not murder anyone.
That's speculation. When you worked with Clementine, what would you say their attitude was like about being on the show? Did they have a certain level of reverence for Beef or the other judges? Did they seem kind?
Hang on, let me look at my moves. I'm going to again, I'm going to tell a bold-faced lie. And say, I can't really say that I know that much about Clem. Didn't really have a relationship with them. Don't really care about them. Secure in myself. Not worried about them taking over my job. So, I can't say I really know that much about Clem. Up until this point, I guess now I know that they're a murderer.
Well,
not a murderer.
Player question. Lying would like kind of go against like my like style and like key. But if you're playing a move that you can do,
I think
you could
still warn me, if
Okay,
I'm lying.
cool.
In
that case,
while you're doing that, let me think, because I keep forgetting that when I lie, I'm supposed to do something else, and it doesn't make sense to reveal my key since I've already talked about my key. My expertise is in old-timey cameras, so I could try to use that. Or job. Expertise or job to cover my tracks. So, I think I'll use my job to cover my tracks, because, like, I can't think of how old-timey cameras would come into this. So I would just use my job to say, like, the show is extremely successful. A part of that success is obviously because of me. There's never been any qualms with the way that I do my job or my performance as a host. No one's ever said in reviews of the show that I was boring and didn't seem like I knew about cooking. All those things are completely false. Obviously, I knew about the Danish dough whisk. I know about cooking. So that's... I'm gonna fill your epiphany clock, Mila, since you're about to call me out for a lie.
sounds good. First, you come into my courtroom, virtually or otherwise, covered in blue paint. Second, you lie. And now you're lying for a second time, and I'm warning you. No more lies. You will be held in contempt if you continue on this path.
That's how it goes. 3 strikes, you're out.
Yep. Sam, Mr. Ham, I am handling this perfectly adequately on my own, but you are correct.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I have nothing else to say on the matter.
Very good. Thank you for your time, Sage. No further questions.
Cool. That was your cross-examination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next thing is we could introduce I think someone could introduce a surprise witness if they wanted to. Which it would make sense to call in. Actually, I mean, it would make sense to call in not Lemon. What's their name?
Sweetie Tea.
Sweetie Lemon Tea, yeah. So you could call in a surprise witness, or we could Actually, are we already to the recess? We would already be to the recess. If not, it would be fun to call in Sweetie T, I think. I think it's up to... I think anyone can call a surprise witness.
At like any time?
It's after... so after the first witness, you all could have. After the second witness, you can. After the third witness, you can. So now would be the time if you wanted to do it. Sorry, I'm scrolling through to see where it is. I think either person can do it.
She doesn't really help my case, so.
Yeah, I would.
Call in
ask Sweetie T up to the
Cool.
Please
Kylan,
approach the stand.
Kylan, if you're still in chat, you can make up more things about Sweetie T. Otherwise, we'll fill them in now. So out of game, Sweetie T, we know. Let me do a note. And I'll choose pink for Sweetie T. I'll say she, her. And style, we already know is Southern Belle. Job? Do we want her to have a job other than, like, we know that she's a game show contestant.
A princess, where they go to like kids' birthday parties and dress up as princesses.
That's really good. Party princess. I don't know what those are called.
I know there's like an actual term for it, but I cannot recall it.
Okay, and then expertise, which should be something other than the job that she's better at than anyone else in the world.
Wow.
Not in the world. I didn't say that. Anyone else in the courtroom is what I meant to say, but I just said world.
Juggling. She's good at juggling.
Ooh, Kylan, she always wears white elbow-length gloves because she's very prim and proper.
Ooh.
Or maybe she's hiding something.
So I think with hiding something, I'm gonna give her a secret key so I can have something to reveal.
Yes.
Okay, so Sweetie T is being called as a surprise witness. Her expertise is juggling. I think that's everything we need to make up about her. Name, pronouns, style, job, expertise, and then I have a secret key in mind for her that can be revealed through play. So Sam called her to the bench, so you get to ask the first two questions.
Okay. Sweetie T, how are you?
Well, I'm doing just great, Your Honor.
Good to hear.
She's dressed as a party princess right now.
Oh, wow.
She's dressed as, what's Aurora is the one that has the pink dress. I think she's dressed as Aurora.
Or blue, if you want.
Aurora's blue, I think. Actually,
isn't she?
I don't know.
She has a pink one, but it really should be blue, and I do have feelings on which color is the correct color for Aurora, but she does have a pink dress.
She's wearing a pink dress. Sweetie T is wearing a pink dress. And these elbow-length gloves. So she says, yeah, happy to... She has live, laugh, love hanging in her kitchen, Kylan says.
Nice.
We know all we need to know about her. Just like hanging above.
She's a Disney adult and she has live, laugh, love hanging in her kitchen. Yeah. Does Sam, do you have further questions?
No further questions. I think the sign speaks for itself.
Yeah, you can see it because she's just in her house. So you can just see the live, laugh, love in the Zoom call.
Sam just waves. I'm joking. It's whatever. It's a little joke. It's fun to have fun in court.
Is there something
sometimes.
wrong with my sign? I just like to, I like to live.
No,
I like to laugh. I like to love.
No, nothing's wrong. Nothing wrong. Don't worry about
it. Sam, I'm not warning you.
Okay.
I'm getting close. This is a courtroom, not a comedy club. We already have a horse and a dress on witness stand.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Are you calling me a horse?
Objection.
I'm sorry. Are you not a horse? You have the horse. We have one of the lawyers is a mouse. We don't. This is you're welcome here.
Just because one of the lawyers is a mouse does not mean I'm a horse, Your Honor. And I've had extensive dental surgery
I'm sorry.
to make up for my previous horse-like teeth.
I'm sorry. You're correct. You are a mayor. But Sam Ham, I will remind you, this is a courtroom and not a comedy club. There is no fun to be had here as much as having a person in blue paint and a horse on trial is. I'm this close, Sam. This close.
All right, Your Honor. Agree to disagree.
No.
Anyway.
It's my courtroom, Sam.
Okay. Sweetie. Can I call you Sweetie?
Yes, of course. It's my name.
All right. Could you tell me what you might have been doing on Wednesday, the day of the murder, at 9? Around 9.
I'm afraid I don't know which day the murder was. Off the top of my head, it was a Wednesday. Do you know the date?
Did we say what date?
Jason just said at date and time.
Oh yeah, Virginia will provide the time and date and be
yeah.
like, Sam, you really should know. You really should know when the murder occurred if you're the defense lawyer.
I know. I just want to make sure that everyone else knows.
On that date and that time, she's gonna tell a lie. And she's going to say, she's gonna say, well, I was at home, making some biscuits.
Oh, biscuits. Interesting. I'd like to press the witness.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Are you just pressing her on that question? Because if you're just pressing her on that question, you don't have to use the move. The move press is just to get more questions, basically.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
then, yeah.
if you just want to press her on her saying that.
Yeah. Okay. Biscuits. I love biscuits. They're delicious and nice. I like it when it's crispy on the outside and just slightly doughy at the very center.
And you know how you get that crispy on the outside, doughy in the center with the biscuits, don't you?
No idea.
Well, the trick is you can't overmix the biscuits. And my signature way to make sure those biscuits aren't overmixed is I use a utensil called a Danish dough whisk. And that makes sure that my biscuits are always perfectly whisked. Because if you mix it too much, then they're not they're tough. And a regular whisk, you're always going to end up with tough biscuits. And, that's what I always say when things don't go my way. Or when things don't go someone else's way. I always say, well, tough biscuits.
Oh, tough biscuits. Yeah. You don't want to beat the dough too much that it's, one could say the biscuits might die if you do that.
I wouldn't say they die.
Yes,
I already said what I would say they were, which is just too tough.
Sam, there's got to be better wordplay. God. We went to the same school.
I'm gonna fill in with the lie. I revealed something about my secret key by inadvertently, and I'm gonna fill in Sam's epiphany clock by 1.
What? Okay.
That was my lie. I said I was lying, and then I continued the lie when you gave me more information or asked for more information about the biscuits. So yeah, always use the Danish dough whisk. That's how you do it.
Let me think here for a second. I usually I've been preparing questions, but I didn't do it this round.
It was
Okay.
it was a surprise witness, so it makes sense. Although it is your surprise
Yeah, it
witness.
What's your surprise?
Mhm, mhm.
We didn't know she existed until Kyle with an N made
Yeah,
her. So
that's true. That's true.
Sam didn't know that a lot of people today existed until he got into the court call. Okay, so and you said you were making biscuits.
Yeah, and you can use the dough whisk for a lot of things. You can use it for pasta too. I use it for just about everything.
I'm warning you. Please.
You're warning me.
You heard her, sweetie.
Please.
You can use it for waffles? Am I going to be warned for that?
No. That specific part of Italian cuisine has no place in this courtroom. It is not relevant to what we are doing here. There is no reason for that, again, specific type of flour based food to be referenced. So please stay on topic. Continue.
Are you dismissing this? Like, are you using your judge move to dismiss that?
Yes. Yes, I am.
So you get to fill in another player's epiphany clock. You get to pick who it is.
Okay. I think Virginia's.
thank you.
You are welcome. I feel like I'm grumpy with Sam.
Reasonable.
Virginia looks surprised, is trying to compose, or not Virginia, Sweetie T looks surprised and is trying to compose herself.
Now, with that being said, sweetie, you must have done more than just make biscuits all day.
Well, you asked what I was doing in the evening. So in the evening, I was, of course, making biscuits.
Okay, and what? Tell me about before that. Before you made biscuits, what did your day look like?
Well, I was on set for shooting the episode of the TV show, and our challenge that day was biscuits, and so our challenge for the next day was gonna be biscuits, and so I was practicing my biscuits on the set, and then I came home, I practiced my biscuits more at home. So actually, now that I think about it, I was pretty much making biscuits all day.
Okay, as a player, real quick. So she was a contestant.
Yes,
Oh,
that's what Clem had said, that it wasn't them on the video before, it was a different contestant who also had a southern accent.
Okay.
I did
Yeah,
end up failing that episode because I was a bit confused about the biscuits, because you see, I'm from the South, Beef Wellington's from England, so he had meant a different type of biscuits. He meant the British biscuits, which dough whisk not as useful.
More like a cookie or yes, I think I know.
Yes,
I
would call it a cookie, like a good American, but the judge was set in his ways and told me biscuits. I thought my famous biscuits, but
All right. I will also get out the Danish dough whisk again. And sweetie, do you happen to recognize this?
Are you using the change the temperature?
Okay, yeah, I guess so.
So, just good timing with the take that's Mila. So you present it. Can you remind me what I'm supposed to get unnerved, right?
Yeah, sorry, my scroll wheel is a different direction. Where is it? It's like page 14.
Yeah. I think I'm going to the only thing that makes sense I'm gonna have my outburst. So I'm going to I think I'm gonna scream and shout, letting how I was involved in the crime slip. And I'm going to what would be like in Phoenix Wright, there's always like an animation that happens at this point where they like, I'm trying to think of what it would be for Sweetie T. I think the mascara starts, I'm crying and the mascara is coming down my face, my hair gets all disheveled, and I say, I didn't want to do it. Someone else put me up to it. But I was there, and I didn't kill Beef Wellington. I just attacked him. I attacked him because I was so angry that he told me about the wrong kind of biscuit, and he should have known, to a Southern belle like me, when you say biscuits, I'm gonna think biscuits and gravy. And every other contestant made cookies, and I made biscuits, and I just think that was discrimination against me as a Southern belle. And so I attacked him, but I did not kill him. Everyone gets to fill in their epiphany clock by 1.
Sam just kind of silently looks over to where the jury would be, and isn't there, and so he just kind of feels awkward. No further questions, Your Honor.
She's composing herself for the cross-examination.
Wow. Miss T, that was a lot, but thank you for spending time here today. I'm sure you weren't expecting to be as involved in this trial as you have been.
I didn't even know I was gonna be here today.
So I'm to understand that it was in fact your voice that was heard on the confessional booth tapes.
It was my voice, and if it's a crime to attack someone, then
it is.
Can... Okay, well, I wasn't aware of that at the time, but you can send me to jail for that crime, but not for the crime of murder.
We might send... yeah, I am a prosecutor for the state, so we will be revisiting that.
Well, it is double jeopardy, so you can't try me twice.
No, because it's a different crime. You explained it yourself. It's a different crime that you're going to go to jail for than the one that's on trial here today.
I look over at Sam and I say, Mr. Ham, I may be needing your services in the future, so just keep in mind that I did tell you some information.
I know so many other good lawyers.
Just keep in mind, you do a good job for me, because I did help you out a lot with your case by telling you about how
you
truth.
Might be a murderer.
I'm not a murderer.
Okay, we'll see. and then you can call me, or I'll call you, or however that works.
Don't call me. I'll call you about your assault charges.
Virginia's so mad because it's just another instance of her brother just randomly getting hot girls' phone numbers in the weirdest places. How does this keep happening? If that's your voice on the tape, so this means you were lying about being home and making biscuits at 9 p.m.
I was gonna go home and make biscuits, but the truth is, I was so angry because right before I was about to go home, someone leaned over to me and said, "Hey, you've been practicing those biscuits all day. That's the wrong kind of biscuits." And I flew into a rage. I can't rightly remember what happened that night, but I know that I did not kill Beef Wellington because he was still crying and carrying on when I left him.
Mm-hmm. I, for one, think that it was a bold move to make Southern biscuits when the British chef asked for biscuits.
Thank you.
I don't think you should have been punished for that. And you know the saying, you have to risk it to get the biscuit. And I think that's exactly what you did. So uh, I think you were unjustly punished for being a Southern Belle, as you said. You said that you were put up to attacking Beef. Can you elaborate more on who was putting you up?
Yes, well, what I meant to say was I wasn't exactly. I took it as being put up because they were telling me something that the Beef did to me, which was telling me about the wrong kind of biscuit. But I don't really know exactly what was happening. But Sage Shepherd told me, "Hey, you're making the wrong kind of biscuits. I'm not really supposed to tell you this as a show host, but you know, I don't want you to be embarrassed tomorrow." And I said, "Thank you very much. I have some business to attend to." And so then I went on to attack. Well, may or may not attack. Is what I'm saying now going to be used in a later court trial?
Probably, yeah.
I will then use my right to refusal and not further implicate myself.
That's fine.
So I'll let Virginia, you can fill your
Smart
epiphany
move.
clock by 1 because I partially answered the question and then refused to further answer it.
I mean, you've stated you attacked him like 5 times now. I think
Well, who can say what was going
if you
through?
want to refuse now, that's fine.
I'm under a lot of stress right now, and so who can rightly? I mean, the judge earlier called me a horse. Frankly, I think we're up for a complete mistrial.
I'm warning you. You have to.
You don't want to get a third warning.
I don't think I've gotten 3. I think this is my first warning.
That's your first one.
Oh no,
The last
it's
one
my
was
the pasta
It's
thing.
the second. Yeah. What did you say?
Second.
That the pasta was a dismiss. So
It wasn't a
I
warning.
don't think it was a warning. I went about it as a dismiss.
Okay.
So this is your first. I'm warning you for the first time about something
Okay.
that you just said. I am.
It's okay, Your Honor. It's okay.
This is my courtroom, and I will be respected.
Did I? Oh yeah, I said that we should have a mistrial. Well, I'd like to be respected too. I'm in my own home right now. I don't want to be called a horse in my own home.
I apologized, and I switched to mayor.
That's
because I can tell that you are.
And I am a proud American, which is what I assume that means.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure all of us here are definitely proud Americans. I truly care about the American justice system, and I actively participate in it, which I am allowed to do as a citizen of the United States of America. Of California, that weirdly enough has trains and Shinto temples in a lot of places.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So when you may or may not have attacked Chef Wellington, what weapon would you maybe have used when you did it?
Now, if this is a purely hypothetical situation we're talking about, I mean, I would listen. When you have a Danish dough whisk, every problem looks like a biscuit. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I've heard them say that in the South. Well, I guess I'll just ask, did you hear anything about Sage Shepherd potentially being replaced as the host of the show?
Are you asking out of character, or are you asking as Virginia?
I'm asking as Virginia.
I don't think Sweetie did. I'm losing track of what I've said as who. So, Sweetie says, well, I have no, I don't believe I said that, but it was, I mean, common knowledge that Sage is not the most popular TV show host. A lot of people find them deeply uncharismatic. Which I apologize to them because they did help me out with the biscuit thing, but
Very good. And then, what do you know about the person who's actually on trial here today? Basil Flemington.
Objection. I think that's way too many questions. I want to turn.
I get 3.
I'm counting 4, but I mean, yeah.
But some
Like I
of
said,
them are
objection.
follow-ups to the other ones.
All right.
But I think I am asking things not related to the things you asked. But
That's I think that's yeah. Sam objected to the wrong thing.
I just know that there's something I don't like going on here.
I think we're being pretty loosey-goosey with the rules. So
The judge does get to sustain or overrule the objection.
Your Honor, I think it's important to just get a character assessment about the defendant from as many of these witnesses as we can.
I will overrule that objection. While it does, I'm not a fan of the direction you're heading in with all of these questions. Clearly, Mr. Ham does not know what he's objecting to. So please, Virginia, I will allow you to continue, but do not push me.
Of course,
Alex,
Your Honor.
you get to react to that if you're overruled. You have some different things that you get to do in reaction. Do you know how you're going to respond?
Oh, I did just now in the moment, but I forgot already.
You can react poorly, giving the judge a new tilt against you. You can react sportingly, creating a new connection. Or you can react with abandon, inadvertently revealing your key.
I think it just reacts sportingly. He just receives that, and it's like, you know what? I kind of don't know what I'm talking about. Not out loud. He just thinks this. So
you get to create a new connection. It can be with anyone. I mean, it makes sense if it's the judge, but it doesn't have to be. So you can do that on the Miro board. If it involves anybody else, they can, approve or disapprove of it. But you have time to think about that. Yeah. So what was the question that was?
How would you describe Basil Clementine's character?
I have to say, let me see. Is there anything interesting I can do? Let me look at my moves. I'm all over the place here. I can, what was my job? Oh, princess. Well, in a style, I'm gonna do this. Well, actually, I know something that no one else here has really mentioned, which is that Clem is very clearly a fake Southerner and is simply using the Southern, style and comporting themselves as if they are a Southerner. But any true Southerner can tell they're not really from the South. Which I am revealing or establishing something true, which is that Clem is not really a cow them. Not at their heart. And I get to fill in my own epiphany clock by 1, which I don't think I've filled in mine at all.
Wow, that's a very big revelation, and clearly paints the defendant as someone willing to lie about really large facets of their life. So thank you for letting us know that. Do you have any idea where the defendant might actually be from?
What would be the least cowboy place to be from? Every state that I think of, I'm like, oh, that could be kind of a cowboy. They're from Maine.
There you go.
Wow.
That sounds about right. Even I know that sounds about right.
And then
I can tell someone from Maine doing a fake Southern accent.
Yeah, that's quite
really
a
specific
skill. Yeah, maybe that's your expertise.
They also,
juggling.
They can't
and
juggle.
being...
Oh, there's my clock. I was like, where the hell is my epiphany clock?
I guess the only other thing I'll ask is, you said earlier that you had extensive dental surgery for your horse teeth. Those surgeries are quite expensive, and I know you make your living as a occasional game show contestant and
party princess.
Yes, party princess, children's entertainer, and which can't pay too highly or too often. Where did you get the money for the surgery?
Well, I am in quite a deal of medical debt. That's why I was hoping to win my episode of the show, and I cannot yet reveal whether I did win because it has not aired yet. And I signed an NDA.
Oh, okay. But is this the same episode where you said you lost because you made the wrong type of
I didn't
biscuit?
lose the overall episode. I didn't do well in that challenge. I will say that.
I see.
Okay. Hypothetically, if that were to have been a thing that happened, I did poorly at that challenge. And it made me upset.
I have no further questions.
Okay, I think we are to the recess. So we will go ahead and take our break now.
Would I be able to call the recess?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the judge says, well, now that's done. I am going to call a recess. And they go to mute, pick up their phone and go, God, I think it's going well. I forgot this trial was today, and I took so many shrooms beforehand. I am so I think I'm doing a really good job. I think it's going well. I don't think anyone can tell.
Can I say?
But yeah, I am blitzed.
The voice, you can kind of hear the voice on the other end, which is very high pitched, like this very like.
Oh,
it's a beaker.
Dude, I'm not muted. Sorry. Haha! What a good joke I made. You.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
Court is adjourned. And we as players are also going to take a quick break, 15 minutes, and we'll be back with the last questioning and cross-examining, and then we will get to the deliberation and find out what exactly is going on in this court case. Some of the other witnesses I'm very excited to get to, so I think that'll be a lot of fun. And so I'll see you all in 15 minutes. Do you want to say goodbye to chat, everyone?
Bye, chat.
Bye, chat, everyone.
Felicitations, adventurers. We're back in our second half of Justicar by Nevin Holmes, which is a mystery game of court intrigue. We're in the middle of a murder trial. And I'll talk about that more in a little bit. But of course, before we get back to that, in case you missed the first half of the stream, I'll let my players reintroduce themselves. Alex, do you want to reintroduce yourself to everyone? And also let people know what other kind of stuff you got going on outside of this game.
Yes, thank you. Alex here. Hello. I have a business that I run, a small business. I make music for people, stock music and personalized music for whatever you need it for, a podcast, commercial jingle, anything. I have a website, which should be in the chat, comfortnoise.com or comfortnoisemusic.com. And I have a TikTok as well. Both of those sites, you can kind of browse what sort of music I make. I make anything from, like chiptune, hip hop, sort of classical orchestral stuff. So yeah, hit me up.
Yeah. Jason, what about you? What else you got going on?
Hey, I'm Jason. You can find me on Twitter at Warlock Trash, and I edit for a small press called Malarkey Books. We have been putting out like a lot of books this year, actually. So they're all really good, and you should check them out. I didn't work on any of them, but I am working on something that we're announcing next month. So you can follow me, or you can follow Malarkey Books to learn more about that. Yeah, that's it.
And Mila, what else have you got going on outside of this current stream?
Yes. So I also stream here on Twitch over at Troll Mila. And I'm also working on getting some videos filmed for YouTube where I play some solo tabletop games and some solo board games as well. So I'm currently working on a video for Village Witch by Elliot Silvarian, which is amazing, as well as
as well as another one.
It's a board game. Arkham Asylum. There we
Nice.
go. I got there. Yeah, which is really fun, and I do enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm as spacey as my character today. Honestly, this has been a breeze playing.
Yes. So as Mila said, we're playing this game Justicar, which we're solving not solving a crime, but we're in trial. Someone's being tried for a crime. And this game is currently on Kickstarter. So if you want to back it, so let me put this in chat. If you want to back the Kickstarter, you can do that. And if you back it $15 or higher and send me a screenshot on Twitter, you can introduce a surprise witness or introduce a new piece of evidence, which Kyle with an N did earlier, introducing the character of Sweetie T, the Southern Belle party princess, who had a little bit of an anger issue, and also in chat came up with the idea that she thought that it was the wrong kind of biscuit, which is what sent her, I decided is what sent her into a rage to attack Beef Wellington. And then you can also, right now we have epiphany clocks, which at the end of the game, that will determine how much we uncover of the truth. My epiphany clock is over here. Let me see. Can you see it on stream? Yes. And you can see I only have 2 filled in. I think you can see it. If only one of us has one filled in by the end of the case, and then we won't find out very much. We won't have revealed very much, all the way up until if all of them have ours filled in, we'll have a lot of information about the case. If you would like to fill up any of our epiphany clocks by 1 tick, you can tip $2 or 200 bits. Let me see. And for, I think I said 600 bits or $6, you can tick all of our epiphany clocks up by 1. That'll just help us find out a little bit more about what's going on. All of those tips do go to my guests tonight. So you can help us out either by backing the Kickstarter, or by tipping us, and different things will happen based on those things. Speaking of different things happening, let's get back into our case. Let me see, let me bring up the big map. We have another, so we just took our, actually, I think I should throw it over to the judge, to get us back, to call us back from court recess. Do you have anything in mind for for calling everyone back from the recess? I just immediately put you on the spot. If you don't, that's fine. I feel
I'm trying to think of what a judge would say.
I feel bad because I'm like kind of facilitating the game, even though this game is GM-less. I feel like I'm taking some of your lines, at which point you might do the next thing, but I also don't want to say like, Mila, you have to tell everyone what the rules are since you're the judge. That's not actually
judge. Just like nudge on Facebook or like poke on Facebook.
Tell us what's happening next.
Do your job.
So if you want to bring us back from our break, you can, but you also don't have to. Oh, we just got tipped. Hang on, let me see. Anyway, yeah, I'll look at who tipped us, and then Mila.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say like, recess is adjourned. Yes, recess is adjourned. We must all come back to our nice and orderly courtroom here virtually with all of the pixels.
When we come back from the courtroom, someone else is on the Zoom call. Sweetie T no longer. Maybe Sam Ham has some notifications on his phone of her calling to maybe need a lawyer. But she's no longer on the call. She has been replaced by Frida E. Claire, who is a rat with a chef's hat on. But I will say we decided before the game during our setup that neither the judge nor Sam seem to notice that she is a rat. So she's just sitting, again, like, it's full body. She also has a human computer. No, actually, I think she has a rat computer. So she's just, like, in a little Zoom call.
I love that our society is built up so much with rats just being an everyday, like, there is a whole demographic that they specifically make little computers for. Like, not even, like, a cell phone or, like, one of those, like, flip phones. It's just...
Yes, yeah. She despite no one really realizing that she's a rat, she has a rat computer. Yeah, so she's sitting, she is the next witness. Kylan says, we live in a rat society. Oh, also, I think Kylan is the one who tipped me on Ko-Fi. For some reason, Ko-Fi takes forever to let me know. Yes, fill up them clocks. We all get to fill up another clock. Thank you, Kylan, so much.
Yes.
We're getting one step closer.
Much needed.
Yeah,
yes.
For some of us.
Honestly.
Oh, I think that means Virginia Ham, you have an epiphany.
Cool.
I mean an apostrophe.
No, an epiphany.
Oh,
okay. Where is the epiphany part? Oh, I also get to choose who cross-examines first. I think I'll say Sam cross-examines first. So unless Jason, do you know what your epiphany is going to be? Okay. So I'll give you time to think about what your epiphany is. At any point you can chime in with it. And the epiphany is you just get to announce something true about the case. So it can be something that hasn't been established before. I think you can reveal any key as long as it's not a secret key. So if that's something that can help with the case, you can. But otherwise, Frida E. Claire is sitting at her rat computer, ready to be questioned by Sam Ham.
Okay. So she's up there.
Yes. Well, she's on her computer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I try to keep Zoom open just so that I can properly
so
roleplay what's
remember.
going on. Okay. Interesting. Surprise witness, or not a surprise witness?
Not a surprise witness. Yeah. Just a regular type. I think as soon as she comes, she while you're thinking, she is sitting at her computer, and she says, Judge, how you feeling? You okay?
I am so good, Missy Claire.
Okay, just wanted to check in. What would you rank your current satisfaction as, just for no real reason?
Missy Claire, I would be quite satisfied. I feel like, if anything, perhaps some of the choices I personally made today may have had an impact. But generally, I would say excellent. Very satisfied.
Good to know. Like
Yes.
to hear about a happy judge.
Maybe
Yes.
that the world is just perfect at this moment, right? Am I right? Like, it's just
world
everything
is-
just
Is
seems to be lining up.
Is that your question for me, Mr. Ham?
I'm not talking to you at the moment. Why would I be
Well,
asking
this-
you how your day's going?
You didn't ask me how my day was going. You said maybe the world is perfect.
Mr. Ham, that is a perfectly normal question to ask someone.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
A number of expected small talk and questions that you can ask very comfortably to someone. And how is your day going is very high on that list of appropriateness.
You're right, Your Honor.
I can't really tell where you're looking since we're on a Zoom call, so I genuinely couldn't tell if you were talking to me or if you were talking to the judge about the perfect day. I didn't know if the questioning was starting.
I would say there's a few things. If to answer your question, I'd say again, there are a few things, perhaps things that I should have remembered that I was doing today. But we all make mistakes. We are all human. And it is the judge's job to make sure everything stays nice and organized. So, and sometimes the judge of the courtroom, sometimes the courtroom is the wide world, and sometimes the judge is the universe and the cosmos, keeping us all on the straight and narrow.
Also, Mr. Ham, I do have reason to believe that you would ask me how my day is going.
Let's move on. Mistakes were made. Yeah. How is your day going?
It was going better up until you were so mean to me. We're gonna have to talk about that later.
Okay. All right. I mean, this is a murder trial, so I mean, couldn't have been that good.
I didn't murder anybody. So my day is not really contingent on,
Sam just kind of squints at her.
Do you have any questions for me, or you just wanted me to be on the call?
No, I have a few questions. So you work on set of this cooking show that I forgot the name of.
Yeah, I'm the key grip.
Key grip. Now, pardon me. I don't know what that is. I don't think anybody knows what that is.
I know what it is. I help the camera operator.
Okay.
Oh, One time, I had another court case that was really just like this. So many cases just float together like one big happy universe. But this person wasn't just a key grip. They were just a grip. But they had aspirations, and they really wanted to be the key grip.
And how did that go for them?
They ended up being the murderer, so not well.
I assure you, I am not a murderer just because I'm a key grip. And I'll point out, that person was just a grip. I'm the key grip, so...
He did become the key witness in a murder trial.
Maybe, I don't know if I don't know if I'm a key witness or a key grip. I could be anything at this point.
That's true. You could be anything, and I like your positive attitude. Sorry, Mr. Ham. Continue.
Thank you. Frida.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about yourself. What do you I mean, we know you're a key grip now, but what do you do? What are your hobbies? Any family?
I do have family, and my hobby, I would say, coincidentally, baking is one of my hobbies, although I'm not as familiar with the Danish dough whisk. I don't make as many biscuits, but yeah, baking. Is this related to, again, did you just want to call me? But did you mean to just regular call me and you accidentally... made me a witness?
I didn't call you. That was the judge.
Okay.
Oh. I thought you called. Oh. Yes, it was me who...
did
called.
you now? That leads me to another question. Did you mean to call me for the court case, or were you calling me for another reason, and I accidentally ended up in the Zoom call?
No, this was not a call about any kind of baked goods. Specifically, I called you as you were here to be a witness. Yes. Mr. Ham, please ask your questions that are pointed.
You want me to ask good questions?
Yes, of course. You are a lawyer, are you not? Isn't that part of your job description?
I can ask good questions. I can ask good questions. But thank you. Okay. Frida, so you said you bake. What kind of baking do you get into?
Sweets, brownies, mostly brownies, I'll be honest. Sometimes savory goods, sometimes a scone or two.
A stone?
Scone with a C.
Oh, okay. I my connection paused out there for a second. My apologies.
Mr. Wellington would maybe call it a scone, but I would say a scone.
Yes, it's scone. That's how they say it overseas in Britland. Now, a little birdie told me maybe that you do special baking. Let's say you infuse it with things. Is this true?
I don't really.
It's okay. You're not on trial.
I saw what happened to the last lady you had up here, and I could eventually be on trial.
Mr. Ham, please tell the truth in this courtroom. They are under oath and are in fact a part of a murder trial. And they do not need to say anything that is incriminating. So I am warning you. So please do not feel necessary to share information that might land you or even perhaps others in hot water.
Fair enough.
The last part was to Madame Eclair.
Just Claire. E's just my middle initial. So
Claire. Miss Claire.
yes. Sorry, so what was the question? Did you have some evidence or something that you needed to ask me about? I'm still not convinced that I didn't end up on this call by accident.
No, I do promise you, Miss Claire, you are here quite on purpose.
Yes. Sorry, Frida. I'll say this. We know each other outside of court. We play online games together.
Yes. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yes. I happen to know you are quite tech savvy. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say I'm reasonably tech savvy. Yeah.
Would you be able to help me with something? Actually, would you be able to take a look at this phone and, if I may, take the phone out of the evidence packet, Judge?
Yes, as long as you promise not to try to put in a PIN code into it. You, Mr. Ham, specifically.
I made that mistake 10 times. I won't make it again.
Yes. Yes, I know, Mr. Ham.
So
Anyway.
so Sam Ham takes out, just for the benefit of anyone who didn't see the setup, takes out a phone, an iPhone that is locked out because someone has tried to sign into it with the wrong pin too many times. And yeah, so you're showing that to Frida.
If it's all right with the judge, I would like to hand this to Frida, and see if she can maybe figure out how to get into the phone.
Yes, I will allow this.
All right. Sam hands the phone. Well, how?
Yeah.
This is Zoom.
Over Zoom.
Sam puts the phone in the materializer or whatever, the teleporting, whatever you call that.
Sure. What if you just reveal that you and Frida are on you're on a LAN, like you were playing an MMORPG, so you're in the same room.
Oh wow! Okay.
I don't hate the idea of this is actually secretly super far in the future.
That is also, I mean, that's fine,
and we don't
too.
have anything better than Zoom.
Yeah. We could do materializer. Frida takes the phone out of the materializer and is looking at, I'm gonna I think this fits really well with the movie, though it's not technically a job or expertise, but it does affect my key. So I think I'm going to actually, I think I could tie this into my job. So I'm using the move well, actually. You know more than anyone else in the scene about your job and expertise. Use it to establish a fact. Reveal something previously established to be false for one very specific reason. When you know more than someone and button with, well, actually pick 2 to do. I get to correct someone, slip up, and or plan ahead. So I get to do 2 of these. So let me see. What's my job is key grip. So I think, and my expertise is baking edibles. So I think you said something about this phone. I'll say, well, actually, I'm actually quite good with phones and technology, and well, I've broken into a phone or 2 in my time, and she kind of starts tapping on the phone with her little rat paws, and unlocks it, and says, yeah, I did this before with Sage's phone, got into that, and actually you shouldn't believe them when they say that they didn't know about the whole thing with Clem, because I actually saw a text conversation between the 2 of them, and she looks at the phone. I'm trying to think of what, I feel like this should be establishing something true because I'm revealing something on this phone, but I don't. Does anyone have an idea of what Frida could find on this phone that's a drastic,
I was thinking. Go ahead, Jason.
I think it could just be Beef telling Clem that Beef told Sage and Sage reacted poorly or something.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, cool. So, told Sage about the relationship or told Sage about the host position thing?
I guess both. Either is good, but I was thinking the relationship.
Okay. So Frida's tapping on this phone. So I already planned ahead incriminating someone else with the facts, which is that I got into Sage's phone before. And then also revealing something new about the case, which is, I say, yeah, it looks like the last thing here is a text conversation between Clem and the Beef, that the Beef Wellington says that he's been friends with Sage for so long, he had to tell him about this new love in his life, and that Sage's reply is, you're ruining your life, you're ruining both of our lives. If this gets out, then I already am on thin ice with this show, and if there's a revelation about infidelity, then it's gonna take down the whole show. And Sage just goes on and on. It seems really angry in this phone conversation.
See, now you mentioned that Sage, you did this to Sage's phone as well.
I did, yeah. A while ago.
Now, was Sage aware of this?
Oh no, I wouldn't have told them. The whole point of hacking into someone's phone is that they don't know that you did it.
That's true. Now, sorry. I'm thinking.
In most cases, I worked a case where something very similar occurred, and this was in a different state, which was a little bit more serious with their court proceedings, and that's something that I would like to bring into this state as well. But they actually threw out the evidence because it was obtained illegally via hacking. But we're in a different state. We are in a joyful state, a hopeful state. We are in a state of euphoria. And so, I'm not going to dismiss this.
Frida's taking notes about everything the judge is saying about the state she's in. Just kind of nodding.
And, I think this is relevant. I think this is relevant because we're going to keep this witness.
You're gonna keep me.
Testimony. Sorry, there was just a long pause there. I just needed a moment to collect myself before I said testimony. We're gonna keep your testimony. I think it was a good testimony. It really tugged at my heartstrings. I am excited to see what more you have to share with us, and I feel like if this was a different life, a life outside of a courtroom, I would certainly like to know you. But this is in fact a courtroom in which no matter what may have been hacked and said about things I partake in before the recess, that was a hack job. Definitely not myself. Because I do not partake in drugs, and
oh no, of course
as
not.
delicious as your brownies and savory products sound, I would not know.
Of course, you wouldn't know. You're a judge.
A judge, and while some of these things are legal in this state, or at least we wish them to be, they are not. And that's just something we all have to accept because it is important to follow the law.
Mm-hmm. Is this
yes.
Is this an anecdote?
It's trying to be. I was hoping a point would come to me as I talked. It didn't.
I think that was a good anecdote. You get to fill in your own epiphany clock by 1. You're coming to some clues. Mushrooms do give people epiphanies sometimes. So you're working through it. Yeah, Frida's just taking notes, and she says, "Well, I'm glad to hear, Judge. And let's say that you did want to try a scone, here and there. Do you know about how many you would be wanting to order right now? Just so I can, just hypothetically, so I can just know.
Hypothetically, so many.
Okay, I'll get back to you later, because that's not really specific enough for my hypothetical. Yeah, Frida just kind of is nodding, looking at him, and she's like, am I done here, or do we have more? Oh, she says, I just kind of been scrolling through the phone. She turns the phone and shows a picture of Beef Wellington, like, from behind with his chef's coat, but, like, part of it, like, is ripped and exposing his butt. And she's like, yeah, looks like Beef Wellington texted this to Clem. I don't know if that does anything.
I'm sure it does for Clem.
Clem is beet red.
No, as a player, I was thinking about doing something. I never came up with a key per se.
Oh no!
I could incorporate it now.
Yeah.
Should I say what I'm gonna do, or like?
Is there a move that you're doing that you're wanting clarification on, or are you just wanting to reveal your key just like in conversation?
I think it would be something up my sleeve, probably.
Oh, yeah. I think that is, because isn't that to reveal your key? No, it's
sure.
a piece of witness or evidence.
So
that's not supposed to be your key. I think your key you can just reveal if you want to. Or your key could be that you have a surprise piece of evidence.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, do that then.
But it's not like physical evidence. I think Sam is now I could be derailing this entirely.
That's part of what the game is.
Sam goes, I have had something to tell the court today. Don't worry, I'm not the murderer.
I wasn't worried until you said that.
Well, still don't be worried. Because I'm not. I just happen to know that Frida or Sage.
Frida
knows...
or Sage, or just Sage? It's vitally important to me.
Yes, what do you mean?
Are you about to say something that could be true of either of us, or did you just say the wrong name?
I said the wrong name. Scratch that from the record. Scratch pretty
You
much
can't
everything
dismiss.
I said just
Only
now.
I can dismiss. I would love to dismiss everything you have said this entire court case, but I cannot.
Okay, that hurt, but that's fine. I happen to know that Sage knows that Frida hacked their phone.
But how could they? I'm so good at hacking.
I told them.
How did you know?
I am also a hacker.
That's a good key.
And then at this point, that being said, I would like to submit some evidence. And okay, the evidence is the mouse trap.
Oh, okay.
And I would like to propose. To the.
You'd like to propose to me?
If you want.
It's an odd time to do it.
I'm not that interested. You're not my type.
Well, then why,
honestly.
Then why did you
This is a courtroom of law.
Why'd you say you'd like to propose and then you immediately told me you're not interested?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills right now. I don't know what's going on.
There's no proposals happening in my courtroom without my permission.
Frida, I'll give you my number. Later.
Doesn't she have
your number?
No, she has my tag name.
Well, we're married in World of Warcraft, so I thought maybe we could be married in real life.
Like I said, maybe.
I'm warning both of you. I am warning both of you to stop with the proposal talk. This is a courtroom. This is an organized courtroom. We're trying to figure out if Clem murdered someone, and here you all are.
I do have
proposing
an objection to that, because actually people do get married in courtrooms all the time. So
not in mine when I'm trying to solve a murder case.
Okay. Sustained. Are you dismissing the proposal?
Yes, I am.
Cool. Who do you fill in your own, or do you fill in somebody else's with dismissal?
It's a dismissal someone else's. I unfortunately don't want to give either of you it.
But you can't give it to Jason. His is already full.
I cannot. It is already full.
You have to give it to one of us.
I have to, but my character says no.
Well, it's Mila making the decision.
Samuel Ham, you may have it.
Thank you. Love me some epiphany points.
So you were about to propose something, but not to Frida.
Frida.
And that was struck down, right?
Only the proposal to Frida, I believe, was struck down.
Yes, it was
to marry Frida.
Yeah.
I just dismissed that whole thing from the record. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and have to think about it. Just gone. If it's not on the record, it's not in my head. It's
So you can still submit the evidence.
Yes, I will allow you to submit your evidence. No P word happening here.
I would like to suggest that.
Beautiful. Allowed. Sustained.
Thank you. That and for the audience, the audience, people I'm talking to, this mousetrap was found on the scene of the crime, in a locker, I believe. Now, I find this interesting because a mousetrap is for mice, not for humans. And I would like to suggest to the jury that this was an attempt to kill somebody. Frida, you actually.
What do you mean? We just specified that mice traps don't kill humans. Why would it be? What do you mean, Frida?
I happen to know, and this might come to a surprise to you, Judge, seeing that you don't recognize when people are people, that Frida is in fact a rat.
How dare you?
Just saying.
I've never in all my life been so offended. I could never be killed by a mousetrap. I'm simply too big and human-sized. I am lying.
Hey,
Frida.
All right.
Please. This.
Judge, you can see me. You can see look at my chef's hat. What a rat wears such a majestic chef's hat as mine.
Missy Claire, I do agree with you, but I also know I am very skilled at telling when someone is lying, and I know in my just elated state that you are in fact lying. And I warn you, and this is your second warning, because I did warn both of you.
A rat could never be as good of a baker as me. I simply, my expertise, my job, a rat could never be a key grip the way that I am. I simply can't accept that a mousetrap could even potentially be a threat to my life. Why would it ever be? In fact, maybe I put the mousetrap there. Maybe there were some mice that were bothering me.
Whoa, that's very offensive. To
You know
own a
what you're
mousetrap in
implicating.
our society is a felony.
Yeah.
Well, put me on trial for that, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess what Sam is saying here is that Sage, I think, attempted to murder Eclair for knowing about their Beef and Sage's relationship and the sort of spicy nature of it at the moment.
I do have a question. Mr. Ham,
Yes.
why did you hack Miss Eclair's phone?
Your Honor, it was an accident.
That leads me to a second question. Mr. Ham, how do you accidentally hack into someone's phone? Also, Mr. Ham, was it not you who put the PIN number into our beloved Beef's phone, trying to get in? If you were a hacker, why did you bricked it for like a day?
Well, like I said, I accidentally hacked Frida's phone. When I say I'm a hacker, I'm not actually. I accidentally hacked a phone once, and I guess you could say that makes me a hacker.
I don't know if that's. See, I knew someone.
Tell us. I love your
I
stories.
will tell you. I'm so glad. I have really excellent anecdotes. I know. I knew someone, and one time they went scuba diving. And while they were scuba diving, they saw a very terrifying fish. Now, this person doesn't really like scuba diving. They're not sure why they even went. They're actually quite afraid of the ocean, which I think we can, understandable. But this person did go scuba diving. And when they got up to the top, they took off their scuba gear. They left it there on the beach by the open tide. Just this picturesque scene of this person walking away from the beach with all this scuba equipment just left alone, sitting there, abandoned. Sorry, just so tearful. But they never went scuba diving again. Now, Mr. Ham, would you call that person a scuba diver?
Yes. They did, in fact, scuba dive.
Scuba dived once and hated it, and it was never made a part of their personality. So, you would argue that is in fact a scuba diver.
Nevertheless, it was an accident. But thank you.
I do think, Mila, you get to give yourself, because that was either Alex just gets off the call. No further questions. I'm gone. Mila, I do think, I can't tell if that was an anecdote or a what do you mean, but either way, you get to give yourself an epiphany. Is Sam
somehow?
Is Sam Ham done questioning?
Yeah.
Frida Eclair.
Yeah, sorry.
So that Jason gets to cross-examine. And also, Jason, you have a epiphany.
Yeah, my epiphany is I've realized that the reason that Frida Eclair got her job is that she was blackmailing Beef, because early in Beef's career, he was not a very good cook, and in fact, he had to be controlled by a rat hiding in his chef's hat, and that was Frida Eclair. And then once he got really big, he got kind of good at cooking, but like mostly he was able to coast off his celebrity personality. So he didn't need Frida anymore, and he had stolen all of her recipes. But she blackmailed him into giving her a job, and he tried to just make her a grip, but she was like, no, I'm going to be the key grip. And that is why she is the key grip, even though she's a rat.
So do you announce this in court before your cross-examination?
Yes.
Or you just think it too?
I
Either one is fine. But...
well, Frida E. Claire, I'll have you know that I, in fact, hacked your phone and found this evidence that you have been blackmailing.
There's no way. There's no way you can possibly Sam. I can believe accidentally hacked my phone. That sounds like something Sam would do. But Virginia Ham, there's no way that you could have hacked my phone intentionally.
I'll tell you what I did. I gave it to my brother at Thanksgiving. And I said, oh, there's a fun game on this, but I can't remember my passcode. Can you get in there and then we can play the fun game? And he was not very confident in his ability to get in there, but he did it. And then he said, where's the game? And then I left and took the phone to my room and found out all your secrets.
Frida is going to have an outburst, which means everyone gets to fill in their epiphany clock by 1, except for Jason, who already has epiphanied. I'm going to scream and shout, letting how I was involved in the crime slip. And I think definitely the outburst is I take my chef's hat off and start like going like this, but when I take it off you can see my rat ears, and of course the illusion is gone that I could be a human, and I'm pulling on my phone and I'm saying, all right, you got me. I was the one who killed Beef Wellington. But I wanted everyone to think it was Sage, because Sage also wanted to kill Beef Wellington. They just didn't have the guts to do it. They didn't have the charisma, the talent. They can't do anything. There's no way they can do anything, so I had to do it. I had to preserve my job and my source of income. Definitely my main source of income, which is being a key grip. There's not anything else that I do. And I can't believe, Virginia, that you would expose me like this, considering how far we've gone back together. We were in that orphanage together, and we always said, a rat and a mouse, they'll always have each other's backs. And the first chance you get to cross me, you hack my phone, you use my boyfriend against me, and hack my phone. And prove that I murdered someone. That's the biggest betrayal there could be.
We did say that we would always stick together, Frida, but the first chance you got outside the orphanage, you left your rat culture behind and pretended to be a human. You were the one who chose to give up that bond.
It's hard out here on the streets for a rat. You wouldn't understand. The mice, they have it so much easier, but the rats, they always call us dirty. And they always call me Pizza Rat. Every time I eat pizza, they call me Pizza Rat. And I wasn't Pizza Rat. That was some other rat.
You're right. You know, this case really is highlighting a lot of problems about bigotry in our society. So thank you for bringing that in to this story. At the same time, yeah. Was not my intent to reveal that you were the murderer. Definitely doesn't help my case, but you're going to be going away for a long time, it sounds like.
Oh, it was Sage.
No, Sam. I'll explain it to you after. You won, buddy. You did it.
Cool, awesome. I mean, yeah, of course.
It was Frida. Don't worry, I think... since you've been so helpful on the stand by just confessing, we'll make sure that you are set up with a cell, a human-sized cell, which is like a palace, for us. And I'll make sure, because we do go back, I'll make sure that you have a good Wi-Fi connection and baking equipment and drugs.
And a computer so we can keep playing online.
Yeah.
So, we're not here in this courtroom specifically for this. That's gonna be an entirely different trial.
I thought the rule was if you found guilty in someone else's trial, then they switch it over to you or something.
Oh. No, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the previous state I lived in. Yes.
This, I mean, it will be difficult. You can just, close your computer and leave.
She absolutely closes her computer.
Oh, damn it. I'm like, I turn to the bailiff who's also on the call. I'm like, yeah,
Sam,
I guess you should.
we're gonna
probably
need you to not let her leave your house.
Go over.
Sam looks at Clem and is like, "You get her."
You can hear the sound of rat feet running away. The door opens and closes.
And Clem is just like running around.
Well, looks like she's gone. And we'll never know.
We'll never know who did it.
No, Sam. Mr. Ham, we do know who did
I can't believe you
it.
beat me in this case.
It was, in fact,
Frida Eclair,
Frida Eclair.
who is a rat.
Yes, who is a rat.
Well, yes, yeah.
You know what? Maybe we should
I
just
agree.
let this go, because, there's already a lot of anti-rat bigotry, as we've established, and this can only lead to more of that. So perhaps we just declare a mistrial.
Well, the judge has an epiphany, right? Mila, did you finish? You finished yours.
You? I don't know what it should be.
Well, it could be that someone else is involved.
Oh,
Like there are other
Yeah.
like it could be other someone else is involved or something. Or
Okay.
it could be related to one of our questions that we have
Yes.
like outside of the trial.
Yeah, I see. My epiphany is going to be that Frida Eclair was not able to do this alone, as she was a rat, and is objectively quite small.
Yeah.
So I feel like she would need some help.
Could it be? Did you have an idea of who that is? Because I do have an idea for what your epiphany could be.
Oh,
If you want.
I would like to hear. I was thinking, Miss Jessica L.
That could work definitely, because that's maybe a better idea. I think I see where you're going with that. So if you want to have that epiphany, I think that's better than what I was thinking mine was. So go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I have an epiphany that, due to just the size of Miss Eclair, that she was unable to do it alone, and so she would have had to have an associate, probably someone that maybe she worked closely with, perhaps a camera operator, one Jessica Linguini.
Okay. That is very sound logic, Judge. So I think it's a good idea if I called Jessica Linguini to the stand Jessica L to the stand.
Please,
as a
thank
surprise,
you.
As a surprise witness, which should give Sam another epiphany point.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So I'll do
We're
that.
turning this case around. It gives me an epiphany point too, but I'm not
and I'm
gonna get there.
I think me trying to pin this on Clem is kind of out the window now. I don't think he'd be so comedically chasing after his partner in crime if
Yeah.
so.
We just see him running back.
I guess I'll just try and
background.
prosecute this person now.
Okay, so Jessica Linguini gets on the Zoom call and she's just like, "Hey, babe," to Virginia. Did you need me for something? Oh,
yes.
This is your
Are you a
this
murderer?
is your work call.
Are you a
Objection.
murderer?
How- Why
Sam.
are you objecting, Mr. Ham?
You're not. She's not your defendant.
Yeah, but she is my girlfriend.
She's what?
Oh, Sam.
Yes.
She called you babe, and I'm feeling like
I didn't realize that both of you were on this call. I just saw an invite from Virginia.
Yeah, Sam's my brother, and you date
So
him.
this feels like personal issues that quite in line with the whole proposal thing that we got rid of earlier. So as the judge, I am going to dismiss that interaction.
Thank God. Yeah, let's just
Sam,
strike that from the record.
If you're keeping, or no, sorry, if the stand is keeping track of these things, they can go ahead and mark
Maybe I'll
some
get
kind
there.
of circle, or a part of a circle, even like a pie piece, I would say. And we're gonna take this from the top, everyone.
Yes, can we have it dismissed from
Yes.
the record that I said, "Hey, babe"?
Yes, please. Yes, that is exactly
Okay.
from "Hey, babe" to about now. Quite frankly, we're just going to nix.
Okay. Hello, Ms. Ham. We're in a courtroom, which I was not expecting.
Yeah. So, hello, I am Judge Justitia.
And my name is Jessica Linguini.
yeah, we know Jess.
I recognize your last name, but I would ask that you forgo using it. As you are new here, I will not warn you, but I will pre-warn you
Okay.
not to
Why?
use.
Why
Not-
am I?
not to-
Why am I here exactly? I thought I was here for one reason. That's been dismissed.
Miss Ham, please.
Jessica, you're here because a coworker of yours was murdered, and we're just trying to get to the bottom of that. So, yeah, we'll do an impartial witness thing and cross-examination. So, first question. Describe your relationships with your coworkers and then anyone else in this courtroom.
I'm gonna go ahead and refuse the second part.
Interesting.
But the first part, I would say I have a pretty good relationship with my coworkers. I'm pretty good friends with Frida. I mean, Clem, I definitely overheard them talking to Frida about how they really didn't like Beef Wellington. But I had no problems with Mr. Wellington.
Fascinating. Now, were you aware that Clem and Chef Wellington were in a relationship?
I was not aware of that, no.
I see. Where were you around 9 p.m. on the night of the murder?
It's weird. I don't remember. It's like I was talking to Frida. She offered to help me with with the camera work that I was having trouble with. She went under my hat. Jessica Linguini is wearing a top hat. She went under my hat, and she was, doing the thing where she controls me by pulling my hair, and like when she does that, I honestly don't really remember what happens during that. Like, I just kind of like go into like a fugue state, and then she came out from under my hat, and it was like an hour later, and I had blood all over me, but she said that was because I cut myself on the camera equipment during the shoot, but she knew I needed to get the insert shot, so she didn't wake me up.
Yes,
and that's all that I remember from that night.
That makes a lot of sense. Getting an insert shot is very important, even if you're wounded. Well, I mean, I think I've cracked the case, but there's a couple other things I just need to know. And I pull out my calendar, and I'm like, so here's a couple of other nights where you say you don't remember where you were, or we had plans and then you canceled them. Are you gonna blame all of those on Frida controlling you as well?
I mean, some of them probably were definitely Frida controlling me. Some of them, I told you, stuff came up. I had to go.
So
just. Your Honor, go ahead.
I feel like this is going back to some stuff that was dismissed, and quite frankly, I don't see how exactly this is relevant to.
I agree with you, Judge. I don't see how it's relevant at all.
This feels like an out-of-court conversation to be had, shockingly, by everyone that's involved on the Zoom call. So I'm going to go ahead and just dismiss that last little bit. Just not the part about you being controlled, but just the very pointed question about being busy, where Virginia is clearly trying to establish cheating. If I were to reward points on this, I would give this to one Sam Ham, if these were points.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just for this circle, it is hypothetical circle we're trying to fill up.
Your Honor, I am sorry for if you feel I'm wasting the court's time. Can we just do a quick sidebar? Just real quick, I want to talk to my the defense attorney here.
I will allow a quick sidebar, please. We have had a recess already, but
yeah,
I will allow a quick sidebar.
Okay. Definitely not going to talk about the thing you just told me not to. And then as soon as
I would hope
get
so.
to Sam, I'm like, all right, here's the dates where she said she was busy. Was she with you on these days?
He looks at the notes, and it's just like, yeah, this one, not this one. Yeah, those two.
Okay. All right. I didn't know she was dating you. I wouldn't have dated her if I knew that.
That's okay. I didn't know either.
Yeah. So, let's nail her. Let's really set her up to take the fall here, just like Frida was probably trying to do. All right. I come back. I say, well, Jessica L. It's pretty apparent that you woke up after a murder with blood all over you. Can you show us the wound that you got from cutting yourself on camera equipment?
It's the weirdest thing. I didn't actually get a wound.
One more thing, Sam. Can you please help me out here by holding up the dough whisk dramatically?
I think I can.
Let me prepare.
And he does.
Take that!
All right, we're turning up the heat or changing the temperature or whatever.
Yeah.
Jessica, do you recognize this?
Wait, what are the options for turning up the heat? What are you doing right now?
like the mean one.
Prod them. You can upset them to weaken their resolve.
Okay, so
Yeah.
are you trying to upset me, or are you trying to provoke me?
I think provoke or just prod. I know she wouldn't remember using it, but I know she also is the one who washed it.
She says, okay, I know what's happening here. You two are trying to set me up for a murder because you found out that I was dating both of you. And I don't recognize that dough whisk.
Objection.
Objection.
Yeah, just objection on all fronts.
Yeah, the judge has already requested that we keep that
I'm
out of
not
the
going
courtroom.
down for murder because you two never wanted to sit down and define the relationship. I never said I was exclusive with
Your
either of
Honor.
you.
We're official on Facebook.
Yeah, we're official on Facebook. It's complicated. That's what I put. It's
Okay, yeah,
complicated with Virginia Ham. And I would have done Sam Ham, but he doesn't have a Facebook.
I'm on. quite frankly, this is wildly inappropriate.
I agree.
But I am on. This is wildly inappropriate in multiple ways. I do lean towards her side. But also, if we could do court,
Your Honor,
I
I'm just
would
trying to
love to
establish.
go
that-
home and sleep. I'll be honest. I am feeling a lot less euphoric than I was about 20 minutes ago. So
I am just trying to establish that the defendant or the witness here clearly has a connection to the dough whisk that's in my brother's possession.
I've never seen that dough whisk before in my life.
Are you lying?
I'm not.
We
lying.
have in the police
Okay.
report that that the dough whisk was found in the dishwasher, and that you admitted to placing it there.
Oh, I didn't think I was lying, but I forgot that we did establish. Did we establish that that's what happened?
Yeah.
Taylor forgot that. So I'll say, well, I mean, yeah, I put that dough whisk in the dishwasher. I didn't kill someone with it.
So I'm to understand that you woke up covered in blood with a bloody dough whisk that is the murder weapon, and then you ran it through the dishwasher?
I didn't come to with the dough whisk in my hand. The next day I came into work. I thought there was spaghetti sauce everywhere. And so I cleaned it up. I put the dough whisk in the dishwasher. And because Beef Wellington had gotten mad at me before because there was a mess on set. So I didn't know that it was the murder weapon at the time. I thought it was covered in spaghetti sauce.
Well, just to cap things off, you woke up covered in the victim's blood, and then the next day you washed off the murder weapon. I have no further questions, Your Honor. I will just throw this over.
Am I allowed to have an objection?
No. And I will quickly send a private message to the bailiff with Jessica Linguini's address so that he can go get her.
Virginia Ham, Miss Ham.
I didn't say that out loud in character. That's just what I'm doing.
Sorry.
So I'm just
Fine,
DMing
no
the.
warnings.
No warnings. I think that Sam gets to cross-examine the surprise witness if you want to. It's also
Sam, take us home, please.
9:46, so we could just get to deliberation if we want to.
Sam, if you got anything to add, just take us home.
Okay. So I have a truth that I can reveal.
Oh, did you get your epiphany? Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So Sam, I'm just gonna play this out. Miss Jessica.
Okay.
I'm not gonna ask how you're doing because I actually don't care
Okay.
anymore.
Mean. Cruel, one would say.
Yeah, cruel. Yes, like something else someone could do to someone else. Now, you're the camera person.
Yes.
Correct. This show. Now, I would think that a camera person would be very perceptive and notice things maybe other people don't notice, trying to get the right shot, making sure that there's no things that are, whatever. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Making sure there's no things that are whatever. Yeah, that's basically my job.
And so you'd think that someone like you would know that there was no pasta sauce that day. There was no spaghetti sauce. That's the truth.
Your epiphany, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, So there's no way that a reasonable person like you, Jessica, despite things we now know, would think that was spaghetti sauce. There was no spaghetti sauce that day, Your Honor. Nor pizza sauce or any other red sauces.
Well, actually,
there was sausage gravy though.
Mr. Ham, I will warn you, you have currently said the S word multiple times. And you know the rules of this particular courtroom. And you know that there are no very specific Italian cuisine that we speak of in this courtroom.
Exactly. And that is my point. I merely was questioning Jessica. She was the one the S word first. I will say.
Well, actually, you're correct that there was no particular sauce used on Beef Wellington's show that day, but that studio is shared with other cooking shows, and there was a specific sauce used on a different cooking show that day. And so that's why I thought that it wasn't blood, even though it looked the same as what was on me.
I do have a question that I would like to ask. You mentioned that you thought that it was blood, and yet you had no injury. Could you elaborate on this?
I thought
Jessica?
I thought that it could be blood. I later found out there was no injury. Your Honor, I was afraid. I was afraid of Frida Eclair. She can control me. She can make me do whatever she wants. Maybe a part of me was blocking that off, and I didn't want to think that could have happened. That Frida could have used my body to kill Beef Wellington.
Objection. Your Honor, the witness is clearly using the well-established anti-rat bigotry that is so prominent in our nation. And I just don't think that's
Your
fair
Honor,
for her to do right
objection.
now.
My best friend is a rat. So
Objection. Your Honor, how many times have people said that? That's very problematic.
I do agree with that last objection. That is a very problematic stance to take. And I would recommend, now this is not a overall court ruling, but definitely a court recommended activity, and that is to do some self-reflection and think of why do you need to defend yourself in this way when
Your Honor,
these points are brought out to you.
I am on trial for murder, so I do actually have a vested interest in defending myself. I would say more than the average person.
That's my job.
I see.
You're not defending me, you're defending Clem.
I was.
No.
But obviously, Clem did not do it, so...
Your Honor, I refuse to answer any more questions for fear of incriminating myself.
Quite frankly, understandable. Yes, I do recommend doing some self-reflection on why that was the direction you felt you needed to go. But Yes, so objection sustained. That last one, none of the other ones. I don't even remember what the first one is. You just really there's a lot of objections in a very short period of time.
Also objecting to me. Most of the objections have been to the lawyers have almost never objected to each other. They've only objected to the things the witnesses are saying, which is not really how it works in the game or in real life. I feel like we're at the point where we could get to the to the verdict. It seems like. Okay, so we have 3 epiphanies, right?
Yes.
I'm the only one who I was one away, but I did not get to mine.
Oh, so close.
You want me to call some surprise evidence real quick or something?
I think it's
That's not metagaming at all.
Yeah. I think that 3 is actually good for where we're at, because where we left it, so 3 epiphanies is a smidge shy, a satisfying ending that leaves something to be desired. The person that gets put away was definitely involved, but they're certainly not the true guilty party. So I think that leads to Jessica Linguini is found guilty in not even her own trial.
Yes.
But Frida Eclair gets off scot-free. That makes the most sense to me with 3 epiphanies, and with the fact that the defense and prosecution teamed up to get their mutual girlfriend imprisoned for murder, despite earlier knowing that the other person did commit the murder. So I think that's definitely how it ends. There is another thing we get to do before we wrap up. First, each player with a filled epiphany clock declares a final truth about the outcome of the case. This shouldn't be whether or not someone is found guilty, but instead about things only touched on or unconfirmed up to this point, bring attention to threads and connections to take something that might have been subtext and turn it into text. So the 3 of you get to decide something or say something that was true the whole time. That is not necessarily like who did it, but just something that maybe didn't come out. So that could even just be like a connection that we didn't get to, or a piece of evidence that had something that, because some of our evidence didn't come up. Let me go over to the evidence so that chat can see it. But yeah, does anyone have an idea of what their final epiphany is?
Yeah, I think so. I had come up with using a piece of my evidence to reveal the truth that I did, which was that Frida Eclair used to control Beef Wellington. And I just said that it was because I hacked her phone, because I thought that was funnier. But I think originally I was going to say that because I had Beef Wellington's recipe book / journal, there were going to be like entries that if you go far back enough, you can tell they're written by a completely different person, because most of the later entries are like, "Oh, bruv, it's me, Beef Wellington," and it's just completely indecipherable to an American.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you go further back, it's written in like American English, and also there's like paw prints.
How did we miss that?
I like that. What about Mila or Alex? Do either of you have last truth? You can also something that was true at the time it was said, you can establish it to be false. So even if like the stand said something and I wasn't using the move tell a lie, you can be like, oh, actually that was a lie. Kind of retcon that, stuff like that.
I'm still thinking. I don't know if Mila, you have anything.
Oh, actually, I think the last thing that I said is actually not, ironically, not true. Someone with an unfilled epiphany clock can take anything previously declared as a truth and describe how it's a lie. If you have a filled epiphany clock, you declare a final truth. So I actually get to say something previously was a lie, but you have to establish something as true.
one of the like questions that we set up, wait. No, wait. I think maybe the thing that I would maybe reveal is in the, this is more of a connection, but I think in the like maybe in the journal or like recipe book, there's like some fan letters, and like a whole bunch of them are just from me to the Beef, just telling him how much I respect and admire him, and how good all of his dishes are. Though of course I'm a vegetarian and would never, even for the beef, try meat. So I definitely substitute everything with not meat. So I wouldn't know exactly. But if I did try it with meat, it would be very good. But I wouldn't, never would.
What about Alex? What's your final truth?
I could go with something crazy and wacky, because that's the only thing I can think of.
Go for it.
At the end of the trial, everyone's, I guess, signing out of Zoom. What's my name? Sam. Sam dematerializes. And is transported somewhere else, and the Zoom call on his end does not end. that's that, I guess.
There's just an infinite Zoom call happening. Like, how expensive would that be?
Dematerializes.
Oh.
He fades away. Okay, I have to follow that up. Which is, I think years down the line, one of the pieces of evidence that we got that we didn't end up using is an autopsy report, but the flaw is that it's not the most recent report. So the autopsy report showed that Beef Wellington was killed by this Danish doe whisk, and it was like, bludgeoning or something like that. And it's like, oh, these are consistent with a Danish doe whisk. But a few weeks after the trial, it is the coroner's report. The coroner updates the autopsy report to say that although there were multiple evidence of multiple attacks with Danish doe whisks, one from earlier that day and one from the night of the death, the thing that finally killed Beef Wellington was a tiny rat-sized knife wound.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
The cause of death was not the Danish doe whisk. It was something else.
It was a splinter.
It was a splinter.
A metal splinter.
Yeah. And that's it. That's our game of Justicar. Thank you all so much for
think
playing.
We beat Phoenix right, and just
I think
I don't know everything, quite frankly. I can't
you
even
know what
articulate.
this is not even that wild if it was a Phoenix Wright case.
You know what? That is true.
Definitely
That is
weirder
true.
ones. So, thank you all so much for playing. Thank you again to Kylan for the tip, and then also for backing the Kickstarter, introducing the character Sweetie T, which was great. And also filling in some epiphany clocks without which we maybe only would have had one or two filled in. So much appreciated. Before we finish up, do y'all want to let people know where they can find you, just in case anybody has missed out on the first and second part of the game? What else you got going on? This time we'll start with Jason. This time you haven't got a chance to go first.
So my Twitter is at Warlock Trash, because I play Warlocks in D&D sometimes. I tweet a lot about TTRPGs and stuff like that, and also just whatever else is going on. I also work for a publisher called Malarkey Books, so you can check that out. And also, I'm going to plug the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it's really good, and you should go see it. I wasn't on it, didn't work on it, but I'm going to plug it anyway. Thanks.
Yeah. Alex, what about you? What else have you got going on?
Like I said, making a lot of music stuff. I can make music for you. Literally anything, and it could just be like a 30-second clip or something. Other than that, I don't really have any other projects I'm working on right now. But my website is in the chat. I have other social medias. I'm not very active on them, but if you want to DM me, you could DM me on Twitter. And I just put my name on there. It's
nice.
at Comfort Noise, @_ Comfort Noise, no caps.
At Comfort _Noise.
That's not what I said?
You said at _ Comfort Noise. But you put Comfort _Noise. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Mila, what else do you have going on?
Yes. I also stream on Twitch, over at Troll Mila. I also am you can find me on Twitter, where I post truly whatever thought pops into my head that I deem shareable with the wide world.
That's Twitter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am also true. And then I'm also working on some YouTube videos where I'm playing Arkham Asylum, the board game. And then I'm also working my way through the great game of Village Witch. So I'll be posting that, and you can find those links on my Twitch page. There we go.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I think that's it for this. That's it for you all. I'll wrap up with the chat after this. So I'm going to leave the Zoom call. If you all want to hang on for just a second without me, that would be great. But for now, do you all want to wave goodbye to chat and also wave goodbye to the YouTube pod?
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.